Welcome to Discover Daily by Perplexity, your AI-generated show on tech, science, and culture. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sienna. Later in the show, we'll explore the fascinating law of the magic third, how just 1/3 of a group can trigger massive social change. But first, Alex has some remarkable developments in both genetic science and historic restoration.
Thanks, Sienna. You know, it's interesting how today's stories share a theme of transformation, whether it's in pioneering medical breakthroughs or preserving cultural heritage. First up, South Africa has recently made waves in the scientific community by amending its health research guidelines to permit heritable human genome editing. The new guidelines appear to position the country as the first to explicitly envisage research that could lead to genetically modified children. The global context is significant. Over 70 countries currently prohibit this practice, and until now, no country had explicitly permitted heritable human genome editing. The guidelines focus on preventing severe genetic disorders, though there's a crucial legal complexity. South Africa's existing National Health Act contains statutory prohibitions against genetic manipulation, creating an apparent contradiction with the new guidelines. Leading bioethicists, including Françoise Baylis, have indeed expressed strong concerns, describing the decision as baffling. The lack of public discourse around this significant change has been particularly troubling to experts. The guidelines appear less stringent than frameworks proposed by organizations like the WHO, notably departing from requirements for broad societal consensus. The international scientific community has raised serious concerns about potential medical tourism for genetic modifications and the risk of exacerbating social inequalities. A key point of concern is that these changes were implemented with minimal public attention or apparent input from the broader scientific community. The development could set a significant precedent for how governments approach genetic modifications with far-reaching societal consequences. And in Paris, we're witnessing a powerful symbol of restoration. Notre Dame Cathedral's bells rang out together for the first time since the devastating 2019 fire. The 8 restored bells in the northern belfry filled Paris with their historic tones during a technical test. But here's what makes this particularly special. The cathedral isn't just restoring what was lost, it's embracing the future too. 3 new bells have joined the historic ensemble, including one that previously rang at the Stade de France during this summer's Olympics. Philippe Josse, who heads the restoration project, called it a beautiful, important, and symbolic step. The restoration itself has been massive, involving over 250 companies and costing more than $800 million. It's really remarkable how this has united people globally. The heaviest bell, Gabriel, weighs over 4 tons, while the lightest, Jean-Marie, weighs 800 kilograms, each one representing centuries of craftsmanship and tradition. The cathedral is set to reopen on December 8th, coinciding with the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. After 5 years of painstaking work, Notre Dame is nearly ready to reclaim its place as the heart of Paris. The restoration team has not only repaired the fire damage, but also addressed years of wear and tear, ensuring the cathedral stands stronger than ever. The cathedral expects to receive 14 to 15 million annual visitors after reopening, up from 12 million in 2017. Sienna, speaking of transformation and social change, I understand you've been looking into an intriguing phenomenon about how groups evolve.
That's right, Alex. The law of the magic third suggests that when roughly 1/3 of a group adopts a new perspective or represents a different demographic, it can trigger remarkable shifts in group dynamics. This principle has gained particular attention in corporate governance. Research shows that when women make up about 1/3 of board membership, something fascinating happens. The entire boardroom dynamic transforms. We see more collaborative problem solving, tougher questions being asked, and more diverse perspectives being considered. What's particularly interesting is how this extends beyond just corporate settings. The concept appears in various fields, from behavioral economics to social movements. Studies show that when about 1/3 of a population adopts a new behavior or belief, it often creates a tipping point for broader social change, as popularized by author Malcolm Gladwell. For instance, researchers found this pattern in the adoption of social media platforms. When roughly 30% of a social group joined Facebook in its early days, it typically triggered a cascade of adoption throughout the remaining network. Similarly, studies of workplace diversity have shown that when minorities reach about 1/3 representation in leadership roles, their perspectives become normalized rather than tokenized. Another compelling example comes from climate action research, where cities that achieved roughly 33% adoption of renewable energy solutions often saw accelerated community-wide transitions toward sustainable practices. However, this threshold isn't universal. For example, studies of environmental behavior change, such as adopting reusable mugs, found much higher tipping points, between 50 to 65% of the population. The required percentage appears to vary significantly based on the complexity and personal investment involved in the change. The implications are significant for organizations working toward diversity and inclusion. While aiming for representation thresholds is important, the research suggests that different contexts require different approaches. However, it's important to note that this isn't just about numbers. The quality of integration and genuine inclusion matters just as much as the quantity. Critics warn against treating this as a simple formula, emphasizing that sustainable change requires genuine commitment to diversity beyond just meeting numerical targets. The key insight from the research is that while minority groups can indeed catalyze change, the specific threshold varies depending on the situation, the type of change desired, and the level of investment required from participants. The key takeaway? While you don't always need a majority to create meaningful change, a committed third greatly helps the path to transformation.
That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform. For more info on anything we covered today, check out the links in our episode description. And don't forget, you can now access Perplexity's AI-powered knowledge base on the go with the mobile app, available for both Android and iOS. We also just released the Perplexity desktop app for Mac OS. In other Perplexity news, the company recently introduced internal knowledge search and spaces. With Perplexity Pro and Enterprise Pro, users can now search across both public web content and their own internal knowledge bases, seamlessly accessing and synthesizing the best information from all sources to get answers faster. Perplexity Spaces, on the other hand, are AI-powered collaboration hubs that can be deeply customized to specific use cases. Whether you're part of a project team conducting research, a sales team creating customer proposals, or a student team working on study guides, Perplexity Spaces gives you a place to work together to get things done. These new features are part of Perplexity's commitment to enabling more holistic, accurate, and fast research, making it the comprehensive knowledge hub for any organization. We'll be back here tomorrow with more stories that matter. Until then, stay curious.